season.
Hey, if I were you, I'd pimp the shit out of it too.
Engage the Maple Leafs one more time on the diamond, one game up and running. That would be the Yankees hosting the Tigers, and the Yanks are up 5-1, top of the fourth here. The Tigers have been one hit.
Dude, FanDuel's got a $20 money back thing.
Also, Aaron Judge has an RBI in this game. Coming up, our next game of
I'm still trying to decide if I want to bet it or not. I probably will, just for shits. It goes like $20, dude.
I'm Brian Finley.
The Parker and Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
A warm Saturday ahead will top out.
Yeah, I think it's probably just through the racing, yeah.
Under the sunshine.
Which is kind of
overnight,
pointless, I guess, right?
66.
You can wait until
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Why make things harder than they need to be? There's a better way to save time and money. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Take the Points is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
It's probably still on the computer. Let me see if I can find it.
Local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app.
Good Saturday morning to you. I'm Mike Gross alongside Jackson Groff and Mike Bauer. We're out here at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 on McCulloch, taking you up to 1 o'clock today. Come on out and see us. Hang out. It is Kentucky Derby Day today. Woo-hoo! And, of course, we'll be talking a lot about it. But here's the thing. It's 2024. We don't need to go back and recap what happened in 2023. We don't need to wear sunglasses and eat steak and eggs for breakfast today.
Whoa. We don't need that hostility to start the program off, especially May the 4th be with you, my brother.
I was wondering if you would go there.
Oh, I love Star Wars.
All right.
I love Star Wars, Kentucky Derby. We've got Minnesota, Denver tonight, NHL playoffs. But yes, May the 4th be with you.
And you as well, my friend. I appreciate that. Coming up on the show, probably not a huge surprise, but coming up at 11:30, our good friend and regular contributor to the program, horse racing aficionado, Marco D'Angelo, joins us from Wager Talk up in Las Vegas. We already tweeted out some of his Kentucky Derby offerings from the Wager Talk TV channel. So check that out at our Twitter or X, if you will, page. Marco live and in person, though, at 11:30. It's funny. I asked him, hey, Marco, you want to come on the show tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, of course. How are horse racing? I said, you want 11:30 and 12:30? He's like, whoa. 11:30. We're not jinxing anything. He is superstitious. So
we are back to the old times. But yeah, Marco, last year when we were talking about it, Forte was the horse leading last year, the favorite horse. And then he talked about Mage and how his running style was similar to Forte, which led to my selection last year, picking Mage. Mage obviously won that. And then I think the Belmont was the second race where I picked National Treasure. So stay tuned, folks. 12:45. We'll be making our Kentucky Derby picks. And I'm looking for that Triple Crown, Gross. That's why I got the sunglasses on today. I'm feeling myself. It only comes around once a year, right. Being a horse expert myself. I'm looking forward to that at 12:45.
Here's the thing. I usually do a lot of research and don't copy you or Marco or anything like that when we make our picks. So I already have a pick made.
Me too.
I have a winner in mind. But like any good, thoughtful person, I will hear out all sides of an argument. I will engage you. I will engage Marco. We'll ask good questions. And I'll lock in my final decision for the 12:45 section, as you just said, when we make our pick.
So the Kentucky Derby, horse racing, compared to other sports, isn't the most famous sport out there in terms of viewing, in terms of attendance and stuff like that. But the Kentucky Derby every year, where would you rank the Kentucky Derby as staple events, must-go-to, bucket list type events in your eyes?
For me, not very high, to be completely honest with you. I get it, and when I'm around the TV and the Kentucky Derby's on, I'm watching it 100%. I love the spectacle of it all. I love the spectacle of the Triple Crown, but that's about it, right? You know, for me, that's it. I was that way with soccer before, but thanks to Ryan Sirk and others, I'm starting to pay more attention to soccer and that sort of thing. But, Kentucky Derby, like if you gave me a list of 5 things, you want to do this, you want to do this, and Kentucky Derby was on that list of 5, I don't know that would be my top pick at this point.
That's fair enough. I would go to it once just to experience the horse racing, be able to see the horses up close, be able to wear those kind of old-fashioned antique vintage clothes and the big hats and the big dresses.
Come on.
Big suits. Yeah, I definitely want to experience it. And if you do go to the Kentucky Derby, place $10 on an Exacta or Profecta or whatever they call them there. But no, I'm excited for Marco D'Angelo, 11:30. He'll give the whole breakdown.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. All right, in our Fox Sports top of the hour update, Jackson, we heard the fact that the Western Conference semifinals get underway tonight, and it does not include the Phoenix Suns. When we went off the air on Saturday last week, the Suns were down 3-0. 1 game left, and we broke it down this way, like, hey, let's at least give your fans something to hang on to. Now they got swept out. The Suns eliminated. The Suns were the first team eliminated from the NBA postseason. This is a fate that I don't think anyone expected would befall this basketball team. There was a lot of excitement as they constructed this team, the new owner and what he was doing, spending money like it's going out of style. Whether or not they were championship caliber or not, that was a good debate. But first round exit swept out, the first team eliminated. I think that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking to Phoenix sports fans.
Yeah, and the Phoenix Suns being one of the most talked about teams, them and the Los Angeles Lakers, Darvin Ham being fired just yesterday or 2 days ago as the head coach there. People speculating J.J. Redick or Budenholzer or whoever LeBron James wants will come there. But for the Phoenix Suns, it's a bit of a mystery. You look before the season with Bradley Beal and all the odds makers having the Suns as a top 3 favorite to win the NBA Finals, and then it comes out this week with Matt Ishbia's press conference saying that James Jones did a good job, Frank Vogel did a good job, and that he has no conversations with anybody, and how 26 other GMs would die to have the team that he has. And you're just kind of like, okay, Matt Ishbia, we loved what you did at first with the Mercury, with the TV deal and all the antennas and stuff like that, and the G League team and whatever he's been doing. And you see that, and you're like, okay, maybe this guy's a little, I don't want to say psychotic, but maybe he's a little just maybe just taking too much of the organization that he should. He's a businessman, but he's not a guy that's been around the NBA for as many years as a guy like James Jones or some of the guys in the front office. And he's kind of maybe doing our best impression of what Michael Bidwell did, maybe put his hand in the pot a little more and maybe get involved more than he should instead of sitting back and just kind of take care of the logistic stuff. But yeah, it's a weird time for the Phoenix Suns, and we'll obviously get into our opinions on what's next, what are our thoughts about this season and moving forward. But I honestly can say the Phoenix Suns, though, I mean, you've got no future. You got a first-round pick this year in 2031. So there's speculations that they're going to trade that first-round pick. I'll make a case later in the show. I think they should keep it, at least have some type of young talent to look forward to. And it's a young talent, a young contract, a cheap contract, when now in the NBA you're only going to get veteran minimum guys for the amount of guys you have on your roster.
Yeah, the other thing that we have to get into, and it's hard, and we mentioned it last week, but I don't think at this point you can say that any of the big 3 are untouchable on this roster. Whether or not you can move them or not with their contracts, we talked about this. In order of difficulty, Bradley Beal, I think, is virtually impossible to move. Plus, you'd have to get him to waive his no-trade clause again. And then I think Kevin Durant after that. And then the real hard decision would be, I think it'd be easy to move him, but as an organization, hard to move Devin Booker. And I'm not advocating that you do, but I think you at least have to put everything on the table. Because here's the thing. Dial it back to everything you said. I agree 100% with in terms of your analysis of how this went down and what the kind of the thought has been since the season ended a week ago. Nobody's untouchable. And Matt Ishbia, whatever else he is a businessman. And when he bought this team and when he did what he did, he expected the payoff to be home playoff basketball games from this team. And he got paid back with a grand total of 2. 2 games in this postseason. The other fight that he's going to begin to fight and he's going to start to feel is from the other NBA owners. Just because you can pay all this luxury tax money doesn't mean the owners are happy that you continually do it. And so this is going to be an interesting thing for him as he engages with his peers in the NBA this offseason as they get together and discuss ownery type things, right?
Is it bad for me to say that why can't they just run it back with the big three? Why can't they just run it back and then maybe just build a better roster around them, or maybe get one of those mid-level tier guys? Like, we thought Eric Gordon was going to be a 6-man of the year, right, or 6-man type player off the bench, and he underperformed towards the back end of the season. A bright side of the season, you got Grayson Allen, you got Nurkic. So we'll talk about it more on the show. But I just think, for me personally, and what you saw, for example, the Mavericks last night, Luka and Kyrie, they looked awful in their first year. Kyrie signs an extension. This year, they're a completely different team because they're finally understanding their roles. I honestly I think that with a head coach and with a good core of players, if they run it back another time and if it doesn't work next year, then so be it. Then you can trade Beal or trade KD or whatever. But I genuinely think this core likes to play together, and I think if they run it back next year and they kind of just maybe go get a Zach LaVine, maybe go get that Russell Westbrook off the bench, then we can see what happens next year. But also, too, Mike Gross, you made a good point last week. The NBA is changing. You got to draft. You got to get guys inside and kind of splash some veteran players once in a while, too. The Anthony Edwards, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So it's a different era in the NBA, and, I'm actually all for it. A lot of young talent out there right now.
Also, we will get into the post-NFL draft analysis. What does it mean to win totals for teams? You look at the grades that are out there, and I think teams I think the experts are notoriously easy graders, right? You look at it, you don't ever see anybody get a total F for their draft or whatever, and you don't know because, wait until these guys start playing some games and you see complete rosters put together, all of that. I was looking at CBS Sports, NFL on CBS Sports, their social media pages, and I love Pete Prisco. I absolutely love Pete because he is the crankiest, crotchetiest, and if you argue with him, he will literally put you on blast on social media. I love the way he's an ASU graduate. I love the way he handles ASU grads. Like, he is real about his football team, and he doesn't cotton any fools, Jackson. But here's the thing. Even the crotchety old cranky Pete Prisco's like, wow, look at what this Cardinals team did. Now, they still have a lot of issues. They still have many, many holes to fill. But, the retooling from the Steve Keim era continues. What does that mean to win totals? What does that mean to the 2024 season? We'll get into that a little bit later on. We'll, as we touched on the Suns, we'll talk about the playoff series in total around the National Basketball Association, and we'll touch a little bit on the NHL playoffs, which continue, as well as Major League Baseball. I was a little disheartened. I woke up and looked at the standings. Diamondbacks are closer in the standings right now to the last place Rockies than they are the first place Dodgers.
Yeah, tough game last night against the Padres.
Yeah.
WTF.
Yeah, I mean, you don't expect to. Well, you had a lot of Dodgers fans in the stadium this week, and, you got one game off of them, which is cool. But, question marks, injuries, a lot of things going on with the Diamondbacks. We'll touch on that a little bit as well. But regular listeners know this time of the show, it is time for our MLS Pick of the Week. And our good friend Ryan Sirk provides that each and every week. And he's back on his winning ways. He subscribes to the Marco D'Angelo theory. Let's cash some tickets. And he's back in his winning ways. He hit last week on his call. Then he and I had a midweek conversation. I'm learning soccer, as I said at the beginning. Did you know this? The Clash of the Titans. There was a midweek match. I don't know. It's some kind of playoff going on in Europe. I don't know. But we talked, and I made some money on Wednesday on a soccer wager.
Wow.
Go figure. So here we go with the pick of the week from our national champion, Ryan Sirk. He's got Austin Villa over Brighton, the money line. Brighton has nothing left to play for, so they've been using a lot of their younger guys. Austin Villa plus 170 money line pick in their match against Brighton. That's our EPL pick of the week. And follow us on Twitter. Hey, if he hits it, we celebrate. We celebrate on Twitter when our man Ryan Sirk nails it. So that's what we got going on. Marco D'Angelo coming up in 15, and then our picks as we wrap up the show at 12:45. We'll step aside here, take care of some business. We'll be back, and we'll take a deeper dive into the first round of the NBA playoffs. They're winding down, and we'll look at who's advanced already. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at wrighttoyota.com.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is here May 6th through the 12th. With the biggest purse on tour. The best women golfers on the Epson Tour will be at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course, brought to you by the Carlisle Companies. Get close-up access to the future of women's golf. May 6th through the 12th at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Go to CarlisleLPGA.com for tickets. CarlisleLPGA.com. Whatever you do, be there.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting, taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, at fogco.com. That's FOGCO.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel
yeah, go ahead and put it in the dog. It's not on the board
In
back here anymore. It used to be on the board back here, but it's not there.
In Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
When the optimistic Billy Halpern meets a suspicious end, authorities focus on an ex-cop turned criminal, but the investigation goes nowhere for decades. Listen to the podcast Cold-Blooded as 2 investigators uncover a shocking motive in the pursuit of justice for Billy Halpern.
He was good looking. He was funny. Everyone liked him. It's just a shame that they took him from us.
Listen to Cold-Blooded on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Cold-Blooded to start listening.
I used to do that show all the time.
Back to Take the Point, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
You're live.
Welcome back in. It's Bauer Gross Drop. We're out here at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. Marco D'Angelo in 10 short minutes will join us, and we'll talk Kentucky Derby with Marco and I can't wait to hear his thoughts on that. But, guys, the NBA playoffs roll along, and Phoenix Suns, first team eliminated in the first round. We'll do a deeper dive on the Suns later on in the show. But as we look across the board at the teams that have advanced, and there's one series yet to be decided. You've got that tomorrow. The Cavaliers and the Magic play a deciding game tomorrow to see who gets the Celtics.
That doesn't sound like it's a fair matchup. They get to play two teams.
Yeah, the Jazzes and the Magic is playing. But as I said, besides the Suns getting swept out 4-0, Jackson, you take a look across the board. What stuck out at you as you look at where we stand in the NBA playoffs right now?
Yeah, I think on the Western Conference side, best four teams still available: Thunder, Mavericks, Timberwolves, and Nuggets. I'm real intrigued to see how the Thunder respond against what Luka and Kyrie have been doing last night. Kyrie, 30 points, Luka, 28. You can finally see they're getting in some of a rhythm. What will they do against the Thunder, who are 4-0, kind of have been on a bit of a long break, but Thunder's defense versus the Mavericks offense is definitely something to look forward to. But, Bauer, we've got a game tonight, or not tonight, but at 4 p.m. with the Timberwolves and the Nuggets.
This is I'm really looking forward to this series. Like, I know, look, if you're a Suns fan, you're bummed that you lost the Timberwolves, probably because you felt good on the last couple of days of the season that you ended up avoiding the play-in game, and you liked the matchup based on what happened in the regular season with the Timberwolves, but they just obviously steamrolled the Suns. But this matchup of the T-Wolves and the way that defensively Rudy Gobert and with Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, you can look at that, and the emergence of Anthony Edwards as now a premier level player in the association, going up against Nikola Jokic is just magic. I mean, that guy, he looks
so much touch.
He just constantly looks like he should not be as good as he is. And, he's slogging up and down the court. He's the last guy down every single time. And you're like, man, that guy is just so good. But they have surrounded him with just insane talent, athletically talent. Guys can absolutely get it done. Jamal Murray is a special player as well, obviously. But, hey, look, I'm really excited to see the Gobert defensive matchup with Nikola Jokic. But I really, man, I don't want to count the Nuggets out already, but I like the T-Wolves in this series.
Ooh.
I like the Wolves in this series because they have the capability where Karl Anthony Towns is always in a mismatch. If you think about it, because Gobert is there, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have to play the 5. He doesn't have to go up against the tallest guy. So look, and I know he's good from the outside, right? And he loves shooting those threes. But if Karl Anthony Towns can go in and can body up, an Aaron Gordon down low. Okay. I like this matchup. I like the T-Wolves in this one.
Timberwolves plus 164 to win the series. The Nuggets minus 205. And that's a good point about Gobert. It's going to be interesting to see what the Nuggets do offensively to get Gobert away from Jokic. But also a thing, Gross, is my biggest thing is, can the Nuggets get off to a better start against a better team like with the Timberwolves? You saw with the Lakers, they had more leading time the whole series than what the Nuggets did. And then the fourth quarter, the Nuggets turn it on. I don't know if they can do this with a team like the Timberwolves, who have been known of holding leads, especially against the Suns last week.
Yeah, you talk about the Lakers, that it's an interesting franchise right now, and it's a flawed team that they rolled out against the Nuggets. And I think point well taken. That's the other thing that you see in professional sports overall, but you're starting to see a little bit from the Nuggets, is it's hard to repeat. It is hard to repeat in professional sports. And you look at the amount of games that the Nuggets played last year and the mental toll that it takes on you to roll it back out, and to expect initially to get right back to that level, I think is a hard thing. I think that as everything you both have said about the Timberwolves, I mean, I've been so impressed. And the one thing that didn't come out yet, but I think you have to give this team credit for, is the ability to adjust. And we hear that all the time, whether it's in-game adjustments or adjusting from the regular season to the postseason, because a lot of the experts were out there saying, well, look at this Suns team swept the Timberwolves this year.
Yep.
So I kind of am leaning towards the Suns because of the regular season. Well, adjustments were made, and the Suns were never really in that series. I mean, you look at that, double-digit losses, man. I just, as a Suns fan, you're starting to get used to that, unfortunately, in recent postseason. But I give the Timberwolves a ton of credit for those adjustments that they made getting ready for this series. and the way they played defense against this Suns team.
And then on the other side, how about the New York Knicks, man? It's cool for NBA to have the Knicks be on top. What a stellar series with the 76ers. They won 4-2, but definitely could have went 7-game series.
And you called it early on. You and I were talking as these playoff matchups came out. You said, look, I think this Knicks-Sixers series is going to be a good one, number one, because they got Joel Embiid back for the Sixers. But don't sleep on this Knicks team. They've been building to this for a couple of years where they jumped into the playoffs, didn't advance, but they were in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Then they advanced, but couldn't get over the hump. And now let's see how far they can take this. And I like this matchup against them and the Pacers. The Pacers eliminated a Bucks team that was so banged up.
Yeah.
Right? You did not get your full dose of Milwaukee Bucks in this postseason. Credit to the Pacers. They took advantage of it. But I like this straight-up matchup right now. I like the Knicks over the Pacers.
I think, and I know we're talking about the playoffs ahead of us, and we're going to get into this conversation in depth later today about the future of the Phoenix Suns, but the 76ers are in that picture. The Clippers, who lost last night, are part of this conversation in terms of not just the whole NBA is in transition. Look, we've got the Thunder and the T-Wolves are atop the West, right? So there's the NBA in transition, but some of these individual teams too. Look, trust the process has got to figure out what's next in Philly. You got no Kawhi Leonard. You got a banged up Clippers team that traded for James Harden. What are they going to do in the future? In addition to what are the Suns going to do in the future? So the NBA as a whole, big picture. Obviously, we're looking at the teams. We got the sports book right here next to us here at Casino Arizona. We're looking at the teams that are still playing, but I think there's also an interesting conversation to be had about these teams that lost. What's next for them in a big offseason?
That's what's interesting. You look at the remaining teams, so much young talent, so much new generational talent. SGA and what they got going with the Thunder, Luka and Kyrie. You got Ant-Man, you've got Jokic and Murray, and then you can even go on the Eastern Conference side. So a lot of young talent, and it's kind of refreshing to see in the NBA. Now you're starting to see that emerge in the next wave of superstars kind of transform this league.
And one last thought on the Knicks, and I'll throw the Rangers in there. A lot of conversation here in Arizona about bad owners, and boy, we know bad owners in Arizona. Dolan still owns the Knicks. He still owns the Rangers. You let your basketball people or your hockey people do their jobs and you stay the hell out of their way, good things can happen. And you're seeing that in New York City right now. We'll step aside. On the other side, we head up to, we haven't talked to him in a while, Marco D'Angelo. He's our football expert. He was our Final Four expert. His bread and butter, though, is horse racing. Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com coming up next.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is here May 6th through the 12th with the biggest purse on tour. The best women golfers on the Epson Tour will be at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course, brought to you by the Carlisle Companies. Get close-up access to the future of women's golf. May 6th through the 12th, the TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Go to CarlisleLPGA.com for tickets. CarlisleLPGA.com. Whatever you do, be there.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at Venezias.com. That's Venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
When you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle wreck, Learn Rail will take you from wreck to check, from crash to cash, from accident to whatever rhymes with accident. And we'll help you with all the details in between. We'll help you get to the right doctors, even if you don't have health insurance. We'll help you get your car fixed. We'll help you get your doctor bills paid. And then we'll fight with the insurance companies to get you every dollar you deserve. Hurt in a wreck? Call Lerner & Rowe. We're with you every step of the way.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, #SexyRoofStatus. All of our work using state-of-the-art materials and 5-star workmanship. Our inspections are free. You heard me? Free. Go to state48roofing.com to schedule your free appointment today.
Hey,
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score big on fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
Enter for a chance to win G2G protein bars for an entire year. Text G2G to 59925. You'll receive a confirmation text. Standard message and data rates apply. Text G2G to 59925.
I was watching that game.
Protein bars, fresh, healthy, and delicious. Now available at Costco.
That's an old Big Ten rivalry too.
101.
JC Sheldon played for Ohio State,
program
so they play each other a lot in college. So that was even playing.
Newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Don't be fooled by the people you meet on social media. It may start as an innocent conversation, but anyone who tries to sell you pills is nothing more than a drug dealer. And if you think tiny pills can't do much harm, think again. Fentanyl can end it all. Know the truth about fentanyl at learnmoreaz.org. Don't be fooled. Don't be faked out. Visit learnmoreaz.
Hang tight, guys. I'm having trouble getting a hold of Marco. I don't know what's going on with my phone system. I'm going to restart it and see if that
you've all
helps.
been waiting for is finally here. It's Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jeff Dye back in the ring for an all-new season of the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
That's right, Freddie. Get ready as we highlight the most jaw-dropping matches, dissect the fiercest feuds, and uncover the latest twists and turns in the world of pro wrestling.
And we obviously can't wait to hear from you, the Federation. Without you guys, none of this is possible.
Yeah, right. We're coming back
to
here. I
Wrestling
will
with
let you know when
on the
I have it.
Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Our Gross Groff out here at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona, Loop 101 and McKellips. We've already had breakfast. Thank you very much. Never ceases to disappoint, Jackson. It's good stuff.
Yeah, good steak and eggs this morning.
Steak and eggs, wearing your sunglasses. Dialing up Marco as we speak, hopefully, and getting ready to talk about the Kentucky Derby, guys. But, you know, I'll go back to the question you asked, Jackson, earlier in the show. Bucket list events. Like, Kentucky Derby's got to be on that list for people, I guess. For me, it's not at the top of the list, but, you know, just it's an event. You know, when you can put eyes on a sport that doesn't get a lot of eyes from the general public typically, it's a big deal.
I think in terms of bucket list for me, very selfishly, number 1 is Augusta. I would love to go to center court at Wimbledon for a men's or ladies final, for a gentlemen's or ladies final, or heck, even both, you know, since I'm over across the pond. I'd love to go to an SEC home game. Specifically, I want to go to Death Valley, SEC Conference, night game at Death Valley and Baton Rouge. I think would be great. And the Kentucky Derby's up there, man. I've been to a lot of I've been very lucky over my career over the years to go to a lot of sporting events. You know, there's not many people who get to go to the Super Bowl. I've been to a few of them, and, you know, so I've got some that would be on most people's list that I've already been very, very lucky and fortunate and to be able to check off. But for me, in terms of my bucket list, that's where I'm looking at. I started Augusta. And then I work my way down from there. And even from Augusta to center court at Wimbledon, there's a big drop. It's Augusta and then, like, the field. It's everybody else. But still, I would love to do that. And then, you know, honestly, speaking of just golf, but the Ryder Cup would be great as well. But, man, Churchill Downs, that's definitely a top 5 bucket list for me.
And as promised, we head up to Las Vegas and welcome into the show for horse race. I was going to say his regular visit, but his regular horse racing visit, Kentucky Derby Day. It's our good friend, regular contributor from WagerTalk.com, Marco D'Angelo. Marco, how you doing?
Marco!
Doing good, man. Looking forward to the Derby here in a couple hours.
I can't tell you what Jackson was more excited about, to talk horse racing with you or to just welcome you onto the program. But Marco, we were, before we went to the break, we were telling everybody, you come on our show. You're our football expert throughout the fall. You came on and talked Final Four basketball with us. But you, at the core of it, I think, and I think it's fair to say, your passion and how you tackle this. Horse racing's it for you, isn't it?
Horse racing, yeah, it's more than just a passion. It's a hobby. It's a business. You guys know I own horses. I've owned and bred race horses since 1986. So, yeah, it's more than me just betting horses. I love the sport. I know it from the inside out. And this is like Christmas morning for me.
Marco D'Angelo with us from WagerTalk.com. You follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. Marco, before we get to the race specifically, kind of set the stage. You're up there in Las Vegas, and we always ask you, hey, what's it like around the Final Four? What's it like around the Super Bowl? Where does horse racing, particularly the Triple Crown events, where does that stack, and what's the excitement level in and around Las Vegas today?
Well, what's going on with the first Saturday in May, it is a event. We talk about it when the Super Bowl, everybody wants to be a part of it. There's going to be people that bet the Kentucky Derby today that this might be the only horse race they bet all year, but they want to be a part of the party. And that's what makes it good for us as a bettor that has some knowledge in horse racing, because unlike betting sports guys, we're not betting against the house. The house makes the same amount of money no matter if it's the favorite that wins or a 99-1 shot. We're betting against everybody else that's betting. So, there's a lot of novices, or as I like to refer to it, there's a lot of dead money inflating the pools, which makes it better for us. We're going to get better payouts and make some money. But the other part of it is, because it is the first Saturday in May, that also always coincides with Cinco de Mayo. And Cinco de Mayo in Vegas is always, paired up with a Canelo fight. Okay, so we've got the Canelo fight here in Vegas this weekend, Cinco de Mayo, Kentucky Derby. It is just party city. Every place is packed. And, usually I would be at one of the sports books, on Kentucky Derby Day, but it's crazy. And now that we have the apps, I can sit on my couch, I can throw some stuff on the grill and enjoy the races in the comfort of my living room.
So, Marco, you mentioned this dead money, if you will, and the novices, and I am absolutely one of those people that parachutes in and only wagers on the ponies for the Triple Crown. Occasionally, I'll make a trip out here over the years to Turf Paradise, and have bet on some of the local races over the years. When the track was really rocking and rolling, but. For those out there like me that are novices, what are some of the tips that you have? Kind of a horse racing 101. You always hear about box this and exacta that and all that. So what are some, maybe just the 101, the Cliff's Notes in terms of things to look at and things to absolutely avoid, bets to avoid on the board?
Well, if you're a first-time bettor and you just want to have some fun, it's very easy just to go bet a win, place, and show ticket. And what that means is if you bet a horse across the board, win, place, and show, he can either win, finish second, or finish third, and you're going to get money. Too often, people do make that bet, and the horse doesn't win, but runs second, and they don't realize they still have two winning tickets there. They cash two, and they throw the ticket away. So that's a mistake that people make, too. When you're looking at this race, if you're actually trying to handicap it, one of the myths of the Kentucky Derby is because it's 1.25 miles, and this would be the first time that any of these horses have gone 1.25 miles, everybody thinks the longer distance, it automatically suits the closer. And that's not the case because the closers in the race, and I'll talk about one of the horses that's one of the favorites but is going to be really compromised in this race, is the number 2 horse, Sierra Leone. I think this is one of the best 3-year-old horses in the country. However, it drew the inside post, which is bad in the Kentucky Derby because all horses, when that gate opens, they're all trying to get to the rails as soon as they can to save as much ground as they can. A lot of times horses just like a wall, in the ocean, just comes down on you like a tidal wave, and they get pushed back. Well, this horse goes to the back of the pack anyways, but they're not racing against 8, 9, or 10 horses like normally in the races leading up to the Derby. This will be the only time they're in a field with 20 horses, meaning you got to navigate through a lot of horses. And if you're at the back of the pack, you're subject to the pace. Now, if they go suicide fraction like they did the last few years, and we see a horse like Rich Strike that come from dead last, that's because they went suicide fractions on the front end. You can't always guarantee that happen when you're coming from behind. When you make your move, picture yourself on a freeway. You're rolling along, you got the windows down, you're jamming to the music, and you're going 65 or 70 on the freeway, and all of a sudden you come up on a car that's going slower. You want to swing by that horse, or that car, I should say, but there's another car to the outside of you. What do you got to do? You got to tap your brakes for a second. And in horse racing, that's called checking. The jockey has to check the horse. He grabs the reins. Well, these are not automobiles. You can't just immediately push on the gas and go. You lose momentum on a horse, and that split second that you lose momentum can shut a hole down, takes the horse a second to get geared back up, and that can cost you a race. So although I do like Sierra Leone, and as I said, one of the best horses in the country, I didn't put the horse on top because of that, but I think the horse will be flying and hit the ticket somewhere. The horse that everybody is talking about is Fierceness. That is the horse, the favorite, coming in off a big win in the Florida Derby. 2 things from that race. He ran a big speed figure, the fastest of anybody in this race, and he is a front runner. A front runner, what you like about a front runner is they don't have to deal with traffic, obviously, if you're on the front end. But what you got to be worried about is if a bunch of horses try to go with you early, you use too much of yourself up early and you don't have enough for the finish. If Fierceness gets modest fractions in this race, he's going to be tough to beat. He has been very good. He put up the 110 buyer speed figure in his last race. Nobody has come close to that yet. But there's a horse that intrigues me, and I know that Jackson, you had a horse last year. Remember Mage and how well that horse did last year?
100%.
Well, these 2 horses have something in common. Mage last year came into the Kentucky Derby with only 3 career starts. Mage also came into the Kentucky Derby not racing at 2. Now, the myth had always been you had to race at 2 to win the Kentucky Derby. There had only been one horse that had done it way back when Apollo was the horse, a gazillion years ago. But this has been happening twice in the last 7 years. The first horse to do that was Justified. Well, there's a horse in this race that I'm going to talk about that I like, and it's the number 8 horse, Just a Touch. Guess what? His daddy is Justified, and they both didn't race at 2, just like Mage. Both Justify and Mage only had 3 career starts going into the Kentucky Derby. Guess what? Just a Touch, only 3 career starts. And what impresses me the most about Just a Touch, the number 8 horse, is that in his 3rd career start last time out, he was in a very tough race. He was in the Bluegrass against Sierra Leone. Now, you know how much I just told you that I like Sierra Leone. Well, Just a Touch, 3rd career start, was right off the front end, chasing very fast fractions. He ended up putting away the horse on the front end and then had to lead deep stretch. Sierra Leone, because they went so fast in the beginning, was able to catch him right before the wire. But that was a game effort for a horse that only had 3 career starts. I expect him to move forward, and if you like Sierra Leone, you have to like Just a Touch because he finished 2nd to Sierra Leone, and Sierra Leone's going to be much shorter odds than Just a Touch. Currently, Just a Touch is 10-1. That's my long shot to win the Kentucky Derby.
So last year, Marco, you talked about Forte and him being the favorite, and he got scratched just a couple hours before, and you talked about how Mage was a similar running style to him, being at 15-1. You mentioned that Just a touch, 10-1 is a long shot that you like. Is there any other long shots deeper down that you think has a chance, or is that kind of out of the realm in terms of how talented, I guess, the guys at the front are compared to those long shots?
Bill, I'm glad you asked. I do have one, and it's a bomber. Last I looked, he was sitting at 29-1, and that is the number 19 horse, Resilience. Now, this horse is going to get lost at the betting windows because his prep race that got him into the Derby was the Wood Memorial. Now, there hasn't been a horse win the Kentucky Derby that went through the Wood Memorial since 2003 when Funnyside did it. But I'm going 2 back on this horse, and I'm looking at the race that he ran at the fairgrounds, the Risen Star. This is a horse that is trained by Bill Mott. Bill Mott takes his time with his horses. This is a Hall of Fame trainer. He raced the horse 3 times as a 2-year-old, and then he quit with him in November to freshen him up and get him ready for his 3-year-old season. He debuted him. He was still a maiden. Debuted him on New Year's Day, and he won his maiden by 4 1/4 lengths going away. Off of just a maiden race, he went ahead and put him in the Risen Star, a very tough stakes race. And in that race, there were 3 really good horses in that race. Sierra Leone, Track Phantom, Catching Freedom. All 3 of those horses are in the Derby. He ran 4th to go forth fucking start back off the layoff. Then he went to the Wood Memorial and just made a shambles of the field. Bill Mott doesn't go to a race just to feel warm and fuzzy because he's in the Kentucky Derby. If he shows up, he thinks he's got a really good shot. At 29-1, yes, I have this horse on my ticket for some exactas, long shot bombers. I'll have a couple dollars across the board on him as well because I talked him up all week, and I don't want to see him light up the tote board and not have money on him.
Couple more minutes with Marco D'Angelo from wagertalk.com. Follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. Marco, real quickly before we get your thoughts, your final thoughts on which way to go for today's race, touch on one more time. You talked about getting out fast and I think you call them suicide splits or something like that, or cardiac.
Yeah, if they go too.
Yeah.
Yeah, go too fast.
Yeah, go too fast early. Talk about, and I listened to your podcast or the preview that you guys put out, and I was intrigued by your thoughts on the impact of a big field like this race has on some of these horses when it's only their 3rd, 4th, 5th type race, and they usually are out there on the track with maybe 7, 8 horses.
Yeah, it's different thing for me. The other thing that these young horses starting gate at the Kentucky Derby is right in front of the grandstand. There's going to be over 120,000 screaming fans right there. These horses, a lot of them get a little jittery, and when you're watching in a post parade, when they show the close-ups of the horses, if you see what looks like kind of a white foam on a horse, the horse is lathered up. He's hot, and that's not something you generally like to see on a horse in a post parade, which means he's, maybe a little anxious, nervous, whatever. He's sweating. That's something if you're, at the track and you're looking at making wagers based on what you're seeing. There isn't another intriguing horse here. And the best style for the Derby, I told you the problems that you have with a front runner. I told you the problems you have with a closer. The best style of racing in the Kentucky Derby is what is known as a stalker. And that is a horse that is just off that first flight. The 3 or 4 horses that are up on the lead. This horse is maybe sitting back, maybe just a couple lengths off of that and looking to make his move. If it's fast fraction, he can, stay back a little bit, not get caught up in those fractions, but yet if they're going slow fractions, he's close enough that the field doesn't get away from him that when he makes his move. And then obviously when he does make his move, because he's closer to the front end, he's got to jump on all of the closers who have to bob and weave through traffic. And one of the horses I think that's going to be in that position, that's going to be Just a Touch, just behind the leaders. But there's a horse that's here from Japan. Now every year they send a horse from Japan, and there's never been a horse win the Kentucky Derby from Japan. But I can tell you, the horse they sent this year is the best of the bunch that I've seen of all of the Japanese horses that have come to the Derby. This horse is 5 for 5 career-wise. He has a little quirk that he doesn't like to get dirt thrown in his face. So they race him wide a lot. So he loses a lot of ground in the turns. But I've watched all of his replays. This horse has a heart of a champion. He just keeps grinding and grinding. And when you're watching a replay of a race, I already know the outcome. But as I'm watching the race, I'm saying, am I watching the right race? How does he win this race? Because he's, it just doesn't look like there's any way he can win the race, yet he gets up and wins the race. So the horse I'm talking about is number 11, Forever Young. There's 2 Japanese horses in the race. The other one is number 10. They'll send search crews out to find him. He'll be nowhere near the finish line. But the number 11, Forever Young, does have a shot on today's Derby.
So what's the official play for you, Marco, as we wrap up today's segment?
My top choice is Just a Touch. Second choice is Fierceness. I have number 2, Sierra Leone, third. I have number 19, Resilience. And then I have number 11, Forever Young. And I will be using those horses in exactas. I will be keying my exactas with the 8 and the 17 on top and then second slot with those other horses.
Marco, awesome stuff. We appreciate you making time for us on Kentucky Derby Day. We will retweet out that video I mentioned. You guys did a great job breaking it down. Did you wear your lucky hat for this call, Marco?
I did not wear my lucky hat.
Well, maybe
I will have it on later.
Maybe next time. Marco, though, seriously, follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas, the website, wagertalk.com. Marco, thank you so much. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you, Marco.
No problem, guys. Take care.
Always enjoy talking to Marco. Went way long there. We'll step aside quickly. Come right back on Fox Sports 910.
Take the point. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar and Casino Arizona.
I think I know where Jax is leaning now. We got a Mage reference.
And the free iHeartRadio app. Time to win some bonus bucks. Listen for your chance to win $1,000. Dollar bills yet. When you hear the keyword at the top of the hour, weekdays from 9 to 5, enter it at foxsports910.com to win. Sponsored by Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys.
Hey, Arizona, it's your local accident attorney, Kevin Rowe, from Lerner & Rowe, where there are no fees until we win your case. Speaking of win, we want to help you bank $1,000, powered by Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys. Interact, need a check? Call Lerner & Rowe today, 977-1900.
The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is here May 6th through the 12th with the biggest purse on tour. The best women golfers on the Epson Tour will be at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course, brought to you by the Carlisle Companies. Get close-up access. TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Go to Carlisle. Whatever you do, be there.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
For WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
You ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sports Bar at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Need an all-in-one wireless copier and printer or IT help for your business? Call Document Solutions of the Valley, the official copier and IT solutions company for
Is that enough details for you to make your pick, Jack?
leading the Valley in business solutions for copier and IT service.
I said, did you get enough info there to make your pick?
Take advantage of either buying, leasing, or renting many makes and models of copiers. For a free quote, call 623-252-8282. Document Solutions of the Valley. Our service can't be copied.
Life's a sprint. Meet G2G protein bars. Grab and go fuel for the office, links, and daily grind. Score an 8-pack at Costco or explore flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, power-packed G2G protein bars. Setting your pace.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part, we don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at Venezias.com. That's Venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
Celebrate Mexican Heritage Night, presented by Soul. Arrive early.
I don't know, man.
Mexican.
I don't need them because they won the last 2 games without them.
Secure your tickets now at dbacks.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Terms and conditions apply.
With Popeye's $25 tenders bundle, you get an entire box of 12 hand-breaded chicken tenders, 4 sauces, your choice of 4 regular sides, 4 biscuits, and 4 small drinks, all for just $25. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Terms apply.
No, because they lost that game. You're live. Got a minute.
But it was worth it. Thanks again to Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com. Give him a follow on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. And real quickly, before we send it to the top of the hour break, our crack research staff.
Yeah.
I asked a stupid question in the previous segment before Marco came in. I said, when was the last time that the Rangers and the Knicks both advanced to the second round of their respective playoffs? And the crack research staff, managed by Mike Bauer, came up and found 1994 was the last time the Rangers and the Knicks both played in the second round of the playoffs.
And they actually both made it to the finals that year. Obviously, the Knicks lost because they will never win the championship. But the Rangers won.
2 coming up right around the corner on Fox Sports 910.
Take the Points has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
A homeowner just like you.
Hey.
Decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the backside of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes, Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com.
Today is the day. Find them in your local Costco's refrigerated section or online at G2GBar.com. Incredible taste and packed with protein. They are perfect for your on-the-go lifestyle. Check them out today.
The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is here May 6th through the 12th with the biggest purse on tour. The best women golfers on the Epson Tour will be at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course, brought to you by the Carlisle Companies. Close up access to the future of women's golf. May 6th through the 12th at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Go to CarlisleLPGA.com for tickets. CarlisleLPGA.com. Whatever you do, be there.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
A small commitment, at least 1 day a week, helps reduce ground level ozone pollution and helps us all breathe easier. Ride public transportation. Carpool. Commit to 1 day and help keep ozone away. Visit maricopa.gov/AQ to learn how you can help.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now, you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations like Freeform Radio. Search Freeform Radio and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. Fox Sports 910, KGME Phoenix, KESC HD3 Phoenix.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
Sunny skies to wrap up your Saturday. Will top out around 94 degrees. Overnight, we'll fall into the mid-60s with a couple of clouds scooting by. And your Sunday will be a windy one. Gusty winds, a sunny and cooler 87. For the Fox 10 weather experts.
You've watched more
This report
hockey
is sponsored
than
by
me, Jack.
Try the new limited edition Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's. Try the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's. It's like walking down recent memory lane. To have Orange Dreamsicle Frosty in our timeline is truly something special. And let the moment pass us by. Quick, it's only available for a time.
Take the Points is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app.
Hour number 2, Take the Points, rolling along from the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Mike Bauer, Mike Gross, Jackson Groff coming to you right here on Fox Sports 910, taking up to 1 o'clock today, and lots to get into. Gosh, just enjoyed that conversation with Marco. Could have given him a whole hour, and it probably wouldn't have been enough to pick his brain about the Kentucky Derby, specifically in horse racing in general. But we'll get him back. The Triple Crown is leg number 1 today, so if my math is correct, we've got 2 more rounds after, or 2 more legs after.
Wow, way to go.
I'm a math man.
Nailed it.
The NFL draft concluded last weekend, and generally the local team got pretty good marks, as did the rest of the NFC West. So it'd be interesting to see how the numbers shake out after that. But our good friend Jimmy Shapiro sends out an email regularly, and I got the one he sent out after the draft. And I'm going to come to each of you, and I want you give me a team, and we'll discuss their chances of making the postseason post-draft. But before we do that, there are 4 teams that made the playoffs last year that are favored to miss the playoffs this year.
Okay, which is one of the things that's great about the NFL is that you always have this churn. You have It seems like you have a worst to first every year. It seems like you have teams that make the playoffs that then miss the next year. That's it. And I use the word churn, but that's good that you have that in the NFL. It's not the same old every single year.
Owners call it parity because they like to share that revenue and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Other people have other descriptions for it, but there are 4 teams that missed the playoff, and the division, Jack Bauer, that you described,
both of us,
is the NFC South. Every year, it seems like you've got very average football teams, and they're fighting for that home playoff game.
Yeah, because nobody's good there.
All right, 4 teams that made the playoffs a year ago that will miss the playoffs this year: the Cleveland Browns, the Los Angeles Rams, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow.
Bauer, your thoughts on that list?
Man, I mean, the Buccaneers have been in such transition ever since the Brady retirement. So, you got, I don't know, I think I think that's really interesting because you've got a handful of teams there, and the way that the NFL's done the kind of changed the offseason now too is where you don't have free agency after the draft, right? Now you have free agency and then you have the draft, and it's I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see because you've got teams, and I know it wasn't on your list necessarily, but the Arizona Cardinals have 300 picks in the draft. There's a lot of guys that you got question marks. I thought it was interesting the Cardinals only had three undrafted free agents signed because they had so many draft picks they didn't need to sign a bunch of guys. And the draft is always fun because every single one of these players is an absolute unknown, and to see the odds move so much or sometimes so little after the draft is surprising to me.
All right, Jackson, for you, there were 4 teams that missed the playoffs last year. The odds suggest they will make with their free agent and draft moves. Number 1, the Atlanta Falcons, which is interesting to me because they got a lot of criticism, maybe not for the actual selection, but how they handled their selection of Michael Penix Jr., the Chicago Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals, and this one to me is fascinating, the New York Jets. Jackson, what do you think?
Ooh, I mean, all of those teams I would parlay together and make the playoffs. You got the Falcons in a weak division in the NFC South. I think easily their team got a lot better. I think that, again, Tampa Bay would be the other one that could contend against them, but the Saints, they're not going anywhere with Derek Carr. The Panthers is still a mystery of Bryce Young and what they can do there. Jets, if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy in a division that's kind of flopped right now, the Bills' Super Bowl window is closed. They're not the same team anymore. The Dolphins with Mike McDaniel and a Tua Tagovailoa, is he the guy there? And then you've got the Patriots, and that's a whole nother story. So the Jets could possibly win that division easily, and that division could flip around and be one of the weaker ones. So the Jets, another one there. Chicago Bears, a lot of offseason moves, and I thought they killed it. They incorporated everything they wanted around Caleb Williams. They've got the best weapons offensively. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they've got some stellar players, especially in their front seven. But that division, though, with the Bears, even though they are favored, you said, to make the playoffs, they're in a really tough division because I think all 4 teams have an opportunity to either contend to win the division or even make a wild card. So that's going to be interesting. And then the 4th team, I forget what you said. The Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to come back if Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow and the Jets are the same situation where if their quarterback can stay healthy and stay proactive, I think the Bengals should turn it around. I saw the other day, it's crazy that 3 years ago was when the Bengals made the Super Bowl. Since then, I don't think they've made it past, I think, the second round. So hopefully they can turn it around there. But I would put money on Cincinnati, and I would say Cincinnati and Atlanta to make the playoffs. And those are my top 2.
Yeah, and I think that's a good one. And you talk about the Bengals specifically, what does it take to make the playoffs and then make a deep run of the playoffs? You've got all kinds of things that go into it, but luck is one of those things. You got to be healthy. If you're not healthy, it doesn't. You could have the best roster in the world. If they're not on the field, it doesn't matter. All right, specific teams. We talked about the Cardinals at the top of the show, where when Pete Prisco of all people is
Devils,
my man, effusive in his praise of the Cardinals in their draft. They're on the right track. But it also shows you when you look at their playoff odds how bare the cupboard was when they finally let Steve Keim go. The Arizona Cardinals, will they make the playoffs? Yes, plus 325. No, minus 450. And if you don't understand those numbers, which I don't sometimes, because especially when it's your home team, you get all caught up, you get emotional. Those numbers suggest an 81.8 chance of not making the playoffs this year. Not making the playoffs. So that goes to show you what people think in terms of the amount of work that's still left to go. And Bauer, you touched on it a minute ago. You've got all these draft picks. That's great. You can give them a letter grade in April or the 1st of May and say, hey, I thought they drafted an A or a B or whatever. Until these guys actually get on the field and start playing, you don't actually know what you got out of a draft pick. So you have to wait and see. But 81.8% chance of missing the playoffs for the Arizona Cardinals. Bauer, I'll throw this one at you. Already talked about them. But the Chicago Bears. Will the Chicago Bears make the playoffs? Yes, minus 130. No, plus 100. And these odds suggest that the Bears have a 56.5% chance of making the playoffs this year.
If you take a look at the playoffs, and to kind of go back, I know you asked me about the Bears specifically, but one of the reasons why the Cardinals odds aren't great is you have an absolute behemoth in that division. You have, this is the San Francisco 49ers spot to lose. So you can already cross that off. When you look at the NFC North, there's a lot of people that don't feel as confident about the Lions repeating the season they had last year. I will absolutely, without question, pencil them in as a playoff spot. I think they're going to win the division. So then if you look at that, you got to get a wild card spot. Well, there's more wild card spots now. You have 56% chance for the Chicago Bears to make it. I think that's probably a lot of just a lot of fans making bets there.
Sure.
I don't think that the Bears are a playoff threat this year. Look, Caleb Williams is the number one pick. He's still a rookie quarterback. Rome Odunze, there's a lot of excitement about. Great, he still is a rookie wide receiver. Now he's paired with a couple very good veteran wide receivers, but who's going to be blocking for Caleb Williams? Who's going to be getting there on the defensive side of things? They still have a lot of questions for the Chicago Bears. So I don't necessarily like that in terms of them being favored to make the playoffs, but keep in mind that there's more spots to make the playoffs now. But man, I really like the Lions to win that division. I think they absolutely win the division. I know the odds say that they are odds-on favorites to make the playoffs, a 66 or 68.8% chance, minus 220 that they, yes, will make the playoffs. The Packers are favored as well in that division, and the Minnesota Vikings are probably going to be on the outside looking in with J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold as their quarterback room right now.
All right, Jackson, as we continue our post-NFL draft conversation, playoff chances for teams around the NFL, I thought you made a really interesting point, and it's going to be it already has been and continue to be an interesting offseason for the Buffalo Bills. And you made, again, your comments around the New York Jets involve the Buffalo Bills, right? I mean, because they've been the team sitting atop that division in the recent past, and then obviously the long dynasty of the New England Patriots. But the Buffalo Bills, will they make the playoffs, Jackson? Yes, minus 200, no, plus 160. These odds suggest a 66.7% chance of making the NFL playoffs for the Buffalo Bills.
I think they make the playoffs. I really do. I think in their division there's a lot of question marks with Dolphins. They're going to be a good team next year, and the Jets are going to be a good team next year too. But I think there's a lot of weakness in the AFC. I think AFC's going to have a drop-off year. You lost a lot of talent offensively. I understand Diggs is gone and some of your best wide receivers. But whenever you have Josh Allen, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League, I don't care who it is, if they can win at least 9 or 10 games, I think they're going to make the playoffs next season. Look, they're younger than what they are last year. They're kind of rebuilding. They're going to have the same mantra, same formula as we did with the Chiefs, where they pay their quarterback, pay one of your best pass catchers, pay one of your best edge rushers, and then just kind of draft and fill in those gaps season to season. I think their Super Bowl window is gone, but I just have a hard time thinking and believing that Josh Allen's going to be sitting at home or going to Cancun when the playoffs are going on next season. So I think the Bills will make the playoffs. I think it's going to be close. I think a wild card, I don't really know if I favor them to win the division. I know they're favored right now at plus 150. Dolphins and Jets is intriguing as well, but just because the Dolphins and Jets have more weapons and you wonder what the health is with Tua and with Aaron Rodgers, but I like Josh Allen and the boys to go to the playoffs.
I mean, I also think Tyrod Taylor is one of the better QB2s in the league. If Aaron Rodgers at the age of 40, him being a crazy person aside, if he's the quarterback he can be, he's going to have that team in the playoff conversation. But even if he's not, they got a pretty good QB2 in Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
And they added weapons this year.
Breece Hall, running back.
Yep. As we wrap up this segment real quickly, the NFC West, as we mentioned already, the Arizona Cardinals, 81.8% chance of not making the playoffs. The Los Angeles Rams, we already mentioned them as a team that made the playoffs a year ago and won't make it next year. The numbers say 58.3% chance of not making the playoffs for the Rams. Rounding out the NFC West, Seattle Seahawks, 72.2% chance of not making the playoffs, which leaves us the San Francisco 49ers, an 81.8% chance of making the playoffs, even though we know how hard it is for Super Bowl runner-ups to perform well that following year. So fascinating just to take a look at the numbers as we sit the 1st of May. There's a lot of time yet before we get to real football, so these numbers will be in flux, and we'll keep an eye on them as football season approaches. On the other side, we do a deep dive into what happened with the Phoenix Suns. Suns eliminated.
Do we have to?
Out of the
It's so sad.
We'll talk about it coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
You hear it all the time. Lawyers talk about all their experience, many years of experience with insurance companies, and experience in the courtroom. But what they're not talking about is their results. Maybe they don't have any. At Lerner & Rowe, we're proud of our results because that's how we measure our success. We've helped over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries, with over $1 billion just in the last 5 years alone. When you want results, call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
There's something that binds us all, the constant hunger to improve, the obsession with every detail, and the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Jenny, come on in. Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Steve, how you doing?
Meg.
Meg, nice to see you. Meg.
Arena Sports Grill. Come on out for the sports, off-track betting, incredible food, and friendly faces. The best daily specials in Scottsdale. Arena Sports Grill, 62nd Street in Bell. We know you.
The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is here May 6th through the 12th with the biggest purse on tour. The best women golfers on the Epson Tour will be at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course, brought to you by the Carlisle Companies. Get close-up access to the future of women's golf. May 6th through the 12th at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Go to CarlisleLPGA.com for tickets. CarlisleLPGA.com. Whatever you do, be there.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley. Rewards.com.
When the optimistic Billy Halpern meets a suspicious end, authorities focus on an ex-cop turned criminal, but the investigation goes nowhere for decades. Listen to the podcast Cold Blooded as 2 investigators uncover a shocking motive in the pursuit of justice for Billy Halpern. Listen to Cold Blooded on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Cold Blooded to start listening.
The free iHeart Radio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Freeform Radio, a unique blend of Americana, classic alternative, and roots rock.
You belong in my sweetheart. You're the something I'm sweet.
Open the free iHeart Radio app, search Freeform Radio, and listen now, commercial-free. Free never sounded so good.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
What to do if you're Matt Ishbia this offseason. You get swept out of the playoffs by the Minnesota Timberwolves. 2 home playoff games is all you get as a payback on your investment this offseason. and many questions to go. And they had the press conference, the owner, the general manager, and they said a lot, but I don't know that they necessarily answered any questions. And again, it's fascinating what they're going to have to do this offseason. Jackson, where do you start? If you're sitting in the front office, you made a question or asked a question earlier. Is it out of the realm of possibility to say, hey, let's just run it back? Maybe chemistry is the thing. Let's just run it back. Is that out of the realm of possibility?
No, I don't think it is at all. I think you look back and maybe you got to watch old tape of when these big three were together. And, Matt Ishbia said they were only together for a certain amount of games. But I thought Kevin Durant's production during the season and him not being, knock on wood, injury prone as we expected from other years was a plus for the Phoenix Suns. And, Bradley Beal had a disappointing season. It's his first year in Phoenix. And then for Devin Booker, not what we normally saw from the playoffs. So I think you do take a step back, maybe have a meeting with Vogel if he still sticks around, or James Jones, and say, hey, what from those three, James Jones, did you see that we can work and move forward on, and maybe we can add a point guard for next season? I think some bright sides with Nurk and Grayson Allen. You've got that starting five for next year. I think you got to start with that big three first and kind of, establish what are some of those players that you think can maybe that they played with in the past or that they've got good relationships with that they can play well for the next year to kind of fill out that bench and be those fillers for the Phoenix Suns next year.
And Bauer, you look at this and Charles Barkley has suggested that you have to break up the big three, whether or not that's possible or not with the contracts and everything like that, the no trade clauses that are out there. You look at, I sent you guys this a couple of days ago that I saw on Twitter where Bradley Beal, the next 3 seasons, the Sun owe him $50 million, $54 million, $57 million, and he has a no trade clause baked into all that. You don't move that. You don't move that. So Kevin Durant, he might be movable, but his contract is big. He's getting older. And then the one that's definitely you could do something with, I think, if you wanted to. That's a big if, and that's a big pill to swallow because it would be a tough sell in this community is Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Devin Booker. So if you're in the front office and giving advice, what do you do?
That's a complete non-starter. Booker's not going anywhere. If I'm Ishbia, Jones, and company, Devin Booker's not going anywhere. You are, essentially making a PR career suicide, but not just PR because he's beloved. He's the best player on the team. Keep in mind, Kevin Durant wanted to come here. Bradley Beal already waived a no trade clause to come here to play with that guy, to play with Book. Book is the dude. All the other guys, anybody else can move. Devin Booker, not even listening to phone calls about Devin Booker unless you're offering me the entire roster of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Unless you're offering me the entire roster. Look, this is a team, and you mentioned the big three only played together 41 games, Jackson. They have to run it back. Not should run it back. They have to. There is no other course of action for the team right now. You're talking about the starting five right now scheduled to make $184 million, not over the career of their contracts, not over the rest of their careers. Next year, this starting five for this team is scheduled to make $184 million. The projected payroll next year is $206 million. That means you only have a few guys making a couple million here and there that fill in the rest of the roster. Look, your best pathway to success, because you're not going to get great value for either Durant or Bradley Beal if you are able to move them, is to hope that you can get some guys that are ring chasing to come here on league veterans minimums. That's your best case solution. And before I bounce it back to you guys, I firmly believe Frank Vogel should be here, should absolutely 100% be the coach. He was not the problem this year. It was the players. I know I just said you have to run it back with the players, but that's out of necessity, not because it's the best way to do things. But to me, Frank Vogel's got to stay. If you're the Phoenix Suns, and he did get that proverbial, tip of the cap, tap, pat on the back from ownership. He got, they vouched for him, which sometimes is a curse, but he's got to stick around. I don't know what you guys think about Frank Vogel in the future of the Suns. I think he's got to stay.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. The coach was not the problem. What, are you going to have 3 coaches in 3 years? That speaks to culture in the locker room, player culture in the locker room. And I think Bauer made an interesting point, too, looking for those guys on vet minimum and guys that fill a need, and the need is point guard. Clearly, Devin Booker did not like the attention that playing point guard brought him. I mean, I think if you drill into it, what was the problem with Devin Booker this year that we all saw? It was playing point guard. So if that's the case, Jackson, you're looking for a vet minimum, a guy that can come in, provide leadership, a guy like maybe, I don't know, Chris Paul as point guard.
I was gonna mention that. What are the odds we bring Chris Paul back on a cheaper deal? Look, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but you are going into the season with Chris Paul knowing that he's not going to play a lot of games. He's not going to give you. He's going to average around 10 points, maybe. But him running your offense, him being a leader in that locker room, him being a vocal leader is definitely something that this roster needs, and that's more important to me, Gross, than the on-the-court stats. Is we don't need him to score 10 to 15 points.
No.
Just get those 10 assists and be a vocal leader and run this team. Because, guys, you can say what you want about Chris Paul, but that 21-21 season, his leadership was one of the reasons why they made it all the way to the NBA Finals. So it'll be interesting to see, but I agree with you, Bauer. I think Vogel is not the problem here. To be honest, when do we start to evaluate James Jones? When I get it, you were the executive of the year in 2021, and it could not. Maybe it's not even your fault either. But when you evaluate and you look at the guys on this roster and all the veteran minimum guys, I mean, Eric Gordon was a disappointment. Damian Lee didn't play the entire season. Eubanks was up and down. Bol was great, but we didn't see a lot of minutes later on. Royce O'Neal was good, but are you going to pay him $18.1 million next year? So, although he made some good moves, there's some bad moves that you look and you say, James Jones, what were you thinking here? But also, guys, with the Lakers doing the same method every single year, where they have their 2 or 3 main players and they kind of just throw in some veteran guys every single year, I just don't know if this is going to work for the Phoenix Suns, but it's their only option.
This is a fascinating conversation. Let's do this. Let's step aside quickly and come back, and we'll pick it up. He's Mike Gross, Jackson Groff along. We will pick it up on the other side right here on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at Venezias.com. That's Venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. # sexy roof status. At State 48 Roofing, we are family owned and operated, born and raised in Arizona. We'd love to give back to our schools and community. Contact us at state48roofing.com.
The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is here May 6th through the 12th with the biggest purse on tour. The best women golfers on the Epson Tour will be at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course, brought to you by the Carlisle Companies. Get close-up access to the future of women's golf. May 6th through the 12th at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Go to CarlisleLPGA.com for tickets. CarlisleLPGA.com. Whatever you do, be there.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote at fogco.com. That's FOGCO.com.
Enter for a chance to win G2G protein bars for an entire year. Text G2G to 59925. You'll receive a confirmation text. Standard message and data rates apply. Text G2G to 59925. G2G protein bars. Fresh, healthy, and delicious. Now available at Costco.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Need an all-in-one wireless copier and printer or IT help for your business? Call Document Solutions of the Valley, the official copier and IT solutions company for Rock and Manuch with Jimmy B. Document Solutions is leading the Valley in business solutions for copier and IT service. They'll support your business no matter how big or small. Take advantage of either buying, leasing, or renting many makes and models of copiers. For a free quote, call 623-252-8282. Document Solutions of the Valley. Our service can't be copied.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. To a pharmacist about pneumococcal 20 conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sport Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 9 Tab.
We continue the conversations about the Phoenix Suns and their offseason. What do they do? Where do they go as they get ready to tackle what's going to be a really long and a really challenging offseason? We talked about Frank Vogel. I think we're all of the opinion that that he deserves another shot here. And Jackson, you brought up James Jones. It was interesting. He predated Matt Ishbia. Matt Ishbia bought the Suns from Robert Sarver, and James Jones was employed by both of them. A lot of times guys buy a team and they clean house in the front office, right, and bring their guy in. Matt Ishbia did not do that. James Jones stayed. And, he's the architect of this roster. He put it together. And if you believe the reports and if you believe your own eyes sometimes, there was disagreement about that point guard position with this team. That a lot of people said, look, this team needs a point guard, and they didn't do it. They didn't go out and get that guy. They bought Isaiah Thomas at the end of the season, but I don't know why they bought him in, because they didn't play him. They didn't play him. According to the coach, he was just there as an insurance policy. So Isaiah Thomas isn't the answer, or wasn't the answer. So where do you go, Jackson? If you want to make your big three happy, you got to find a point guard, a serviceable point guard that can come in and play with that group.
Yeah, and someone with experience of leadership, someone with a lot of experience of, playing with another superstar. We mentioned some free agency markets, and there's some very slim free agents out there that the Phoenix Suns could attack and that they could be they could spend on according to their budget. I think Tyus Jones is a fascinating name. I know D'Angelo Russell, what's going on with the Lakers, him and LeBron. I don't know if they're feuding or if they really mesh well. D'Lo, I thought he looked well against the Nuggets. He could be a guy that comes in. He's vocal. He's kind of the energy guy, but there's not a lot of great point guards out in free agency, which sparks the notion of trading one of the big three. And Bradley Beal being one of the guys that was kind of a letdown this season, great on the defensive end. We thought he was going to be that point guard role, him adjusting to a lot. So if you do trade a guy, I mean, I don't know how you would be able to trade Bradley Beal, but I think the best case scenario for a point guard is being able to trade. I don't want to say – I think if they have to trade any of the big three, it's got to be Bradley Beal. And if you want a point guard, you've got to be able to get it in the market, because there's not a lot in the NBA free agency.
You are absolutely right. That is the guy they should trade. It takes two to tango. You have to have a trade partner. The only way that they're trading Bradley Beal is if James Jones goes out and gets another general manager hammered drunk. That's the only way that they're trading Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
He has to have one of the most untradeable contracts in the NBA. And boy, it's not like he finished on a good note at the end of the season, now is it?
Yeah,
He finished on about the worst note that you could finish on. He is, I really think he's essentially untradeable. I know that the big three, if you want to expand it one more, probably the most tradable asset that they have right now, it's your guy, Jackson. It's Grayson Allen. But here's the problem. He just signed an extension, so he's not eligible to be traded until October based on the NBA rules. So you could not trade him now. You'd have to trade him in the beginning of the season. He's probably the player, aside from Book, he's probably the player the teams are going to want most on this roster right now. But you can't trade him based on NBA rules. You can't trade Bradley Beal based on his terrible contract. Maybe not terrible, but his really, really large contract and his ultimate lack of production anywhere near that level. Kevin Durant age is definitely a factor at 36. And if you're the Phoenix Suns, I'm not listening to any offers for Devin Booker. So that's why I say not you could, you should, you have to run it back because you're backed into the corner. They do have the 22nd pick in the draft. You look at pretty much any mock draft right now, you pull it up, number 22, insert whatever player name here. That position is point guard in any mock draft you're looking at right now for the Phoenix Suns at 22.
Bradley Beal, going back to your trade, Bradley Beal, you got to get a general manager drunk. You'd have to include Bradley Beal because he has to agree to it too. That goes to the difficulty of that contract.
Hey, Bradley.
Hey, Bradley.
You guys both have to do shots.
Yeah, you're going to Detroit, Bradley.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. So
Well, you go to Detroit after some fireball, Bradley.
You might.
Yeah, okay.
You made a good point during the break, Bauer, about what this team
I saved
needs
my best stuff for off air.
in addition to a point guard. And, in between Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant, and then Grayson Allen is Yusuf Nurkic. I think he has some value to other teams. And, the problem there is you substitute a guy who played a very specific role and played it well. But the one thing that he doesn't have that nasty streak. He's not that guy that's going to go out and thump somebody for you. He's not that guy that you mentioned Draymond Green. I don't know that we need to go all the way Draymond Green, but I get the point. Is Yusuf Nurkic somebody that you would consider
Speaking
moving?
of Yusuf Nurkic, a guy who took a punch from Draymond this year.
And took the punch and then gave a press conference afterwards, but didn't escalate it, right? Whether or not he should have or not, whatever, but he didn't. What's his future here?
I think you need the big man, though. I think he's so valuable.
You need that big man if you can parlay him for other pieces.
I think he's got to stay. I think he's got to stay personally. What do you think, Bauer?
To me, I have no problem with him staying. I just think that something that this team is lacking. One, and this is weird to say because you have two Hall of Famers. You have two guys who are going to be playing for the gold in Paris this year. You have two probably first ballot Hall of Famers. Durant for sure. I'm going to guess that eventually Booker, after when all said and done, first ballot Hall of Famer. He has that type of talent. You need a leader and you need an SOB. You need a guy who is just an absolute dog out there. And to many, Grayson Allen is a villain because he was at Duke and he wasn't liked. But you don't have that guy that's going to get in the face of the other players on this team and hold them accountable.
Right.
The reason why I say Frank Vogel should not go anywhere is because it's not his fault. You also lost one of your top assistants. Now Kevin Young's going to be gone. Next year is going to be the head coach of BYU. So you lose your top, especially offensive assistant to BYU as the head coach there. But they need a guy that is an absolute slap the table dog, a guy that is going to get in his other players' faces, accountability, leadership. How many times have we seen for teams that across all sports where maybe not the best player on the team is the true leader of the team? It's not always Marc Messier is the captain. Sometimes it's that third or fourth or fifth best player that holds everybody else accountable in that locker room and gets guys to go. And to be quite honest, and he is a Hall of Famer, we brought him up, even though he's under contract, $30 million next year for the Warriors. But Chris Paul was that kind of guy that changed the mentality of the players around him. Forget about making guys better with his passing on the court physically. But, man, I'll tell you right now, Chris Paul's that kind of guy that I didn't want to disappoint as a teammate if I'm a player on the Suns.
I think that's it exactly because his skills have obviously diminished as he gets older, like everybody. I mean, that's not a breaking news type of statement. You look at what New Orleans did to him in that playoff. A guy, Willie Green, who knew him very, very well as his coach here, assistant coach when he was with the Suns, was effectively able to neutralize a lot of what Chris Paul could do in the postseason, but did not on the court, but did not impact that role as a leader, as a guy that took control of that locker room apparently, and was a guy that probably slapped the table and said, hey, do this, don't do that. We need more of this, more of that. And that's the tough thing, right, Jackson, is to go out and figure out who that is out there in this market that can come in and mesh with this big three.
Look, this guy's pissed off right now. Just got eliminated last night.
Oh, no.
He's got future history. I'm all for it. Russell Westbrook, bring him back.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
I thought you were going to Beverly, but that wasn't last night.
Because $3.9 million is his contract right now. His contract is low. Pissed off. A couple years ago, what he did in Phoenix in that Clippers-Suns series last year, I'd be all in favor personally of bringing a guy like Russell Westbrook in. That's a dude that's going to scream at your face, make sure you're accountable, and he's going to bring some juice and some energy and some leadership to that locker room. And he's relatively young. I mean, not young, but he's 35 years old. I think he's still got a lot on his table, and maybe in a bigger role like this, you get a guy like Beal off the bench. Now you're starting to look at the Suns and say, hold on.
And that's a hard no for me.
And that's
hard
an
no.
interesting thought.
No.
But you said something.
Why though? Why?
That is a guy that is going to poison the well.
Why?
He's going to come in here. He's going to want the ball in his hand at all times.
No, he's not.
Devin Booker's not going to get his shot.
What did he do with the Clippers?
He comes in and
he said, I'm going to sit back and be off the bench because I know James Harden, PG-13, and Kawhi are all better one-on-one players than me. He stepped back on the bench, and they had one of the best winning streaks in the NBA regular season this year.
If he is the changed man that he did show himself to be, then I'd maybe entertain it, but my initial is a hard no on
That's
that.
your bet. That's all you got. I mean, it's either him or Chris Paul. That's all you got.
And that's what I was going to say is you said, and I agree with you, you said you need a guy, a veteran, who's ring chasing. A lot of people's going to take that as a negative. I don't.
Westbrook would be that guy.
I don't take that as a negative, though. If you're Russell Westbrook and you've seen how it's gone at your various stops here, particularly with the Clippers, why not? Why not? Because it didn't work for the Clippers, right? You're sitting in the same place the Suns are right now. So if you have that thought that you can come in here and be that guy, and he'd start here, he would start.
Oh, 100%.
So, you raise the stakes automatically for him. I'm not necessarily saying I'm a Russell Westbrook fan, but I'm a fan of doing something different than what was happening this year for this team.
If you're talking about bringing in an older dude, a veteran, maybe a ring chaser type guy, depending on what happens here, Mike Conley's going to be 37 next season. The Suns just lost to him. You look at what the T-Wolves did. They brought in Monty Morris at the trade deadline. They've also got, some other younger players there at that position. Conley could be an option. James Harden is an unrestricted free agent. Tyus Jones is a guy I know you like. Jackson. Patrick Beverly right now is somebody that I don't think anybody wants to touch, but is a good player. And you want to talk about a guy who's got a lot of dog in him, and it is SOB. Patrick Beverly is that kind of guy. Markelle Fultz has been an abject failure.
For me,
I'm just going through the list here.
For me with Beverly, though, he doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to pass the ball instead of his players. He's more of like a defensive point guard, I guess.
Cool.
And he will bring the leadership and stuff like that too. I know we didn't talk about it, and we got to go to break here shortly, guys. But they do have a first-round pick. You mentioned that earlier. I think they got to make the pick there personally. Get yourself a point guard for the future, and maybe a guy off the bench as well. I think they got it. I know people are trying to speculate that they're going to trade that pick. I think they got to make the pick.
You can't
personally.
trade that pick again, can you?
No,
I don't think so. Fascinating. If we can't figure it out, it's going to be just. I would just love to go hang out, get a cup of coffee, bring your phone, sit in the corner, and watch these guys hash it out. It's going to be a fascinating offseason.
The Suns do actually have 5 first-round draft picks over the next 8 years. So for everybody who jokingly says the Suns don't have any draft picks, they have 5 first-round draft picks over the next 8 years. A lot of those, however, are very complicated pick swaps that are going to end up dropping them down. But that said, look, you want this team to be good. You want this team to win basketball games and make it to the playoffs. So you want them to not even be using those pick swaps because you're down at the bottom of the draft anyway.
Well, that's the point. Pick swaps, meaning those pick swaps will never be lottery picks.
That is the hope, yeah.
That is the key there. And
win games.
Coming into the NBA, particularly in the point guard position, the lower you draft, the risk-reward premium is there. All right, we are going to step aside here. When we come back, Casey from the Sportsbook joins us. We'll make our picks of the week coming up on Fox Sports 910.
The Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, rock for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote
I
at
don't. I think it's a game time decision.
fogco.com.
Jenny!
Hey, Jenny!
Jenny, come on in!
Steve!
I haven't kept up with it at all. I've tuned out in the NHL, it said to me. So.
Meg!
Meg, nice to see you!
Hey, Meg!
Arena Sports Grill. Come on out for the sports, off-track betting, incredible food, and friendly faces. The best daily specials in Scottsdale. Arena Sports Grill, 62nd Street in Bell. We know you.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic is here May 6th through the 12th with the biggest purse on tour. The best women golfers on the Epson Tour will be at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course, brought to you by the Carlisle Companies. Get close-up access to the future of women's golf. May 6th through the 12th at TPC Scottsdale's Champions Course. Go to CarlisleLPGA.com for tickets. CarlisleLPGA.com. Whatever you do, be there.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at Salt River Rewards.
A small commitment at least 1 day a week helps reduce ground-level ozone pollution and helps us all breathe easier. Avoid idling, turn off your engine when waiting in pickup lines and drive-thrus. Commit to 1 day and help keep ozone away. Visit maricopa.gov/AQ to learn how you can help.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included with the addition of a Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid.
Switch to Straight Talk. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Requires in-store activation. Device offer ends 6/9/24. Taxes and fees apply.
Time for the best bets, locks, and daily wager picks, courtesy of the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Now joining the guys is CAZ Sportsbook expert Casey Walsh from Boston, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Love it, love it, love it. Casey, how are you this week, my friend?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Oh, we're excited. Kentucky Derby Day here, and always a good time when we hang out at the sportsbook at Casino Arizona. What's going on? We're kind of in that lull. We had the NFL draft, so everybody got the excitement going. Now we got NBA playoffs going on. We got NHL playoffs going on. Boston fans very happy. But what's going on here at the sportsbook?
A lot of action. Gonna start to slow down a little bit with teams starting to get eliminated, but been pretty busy. Should be a busy night tonight with Game 7 between the Maple Leafs and Bruins. Expect a little bit of a crowd for that, and then Game 1 of the Nuggets Timberwolves series.
Sorry, what have you been seeing with the Timberwolves Nuggets game 4.5? Where's the public leading towards?
We've seen so far all Timberwolves bets. As soon as they knocked out the Suns, we had everybody in here betting Timberwolves to win the series, anywhere from plus 200 all the way down to plus 150.
How are you feeling as a Boston fan right now?
In regards to the Bruins?
Yeah.
They should win. I mean, a little nervous. I mean, 2 years in a row could blow a 3-1 deficit. Haven't had Matthews the last 2 games. Should be good, though. I expect them to win, though, tonight.
All right, there we go. All right, let's jump into our picks.
All right, let's get right to it. The Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Nuggets minus 4.5. The over-under total 208.5. Guys, I'm going to go T-Wolves on this one. I just think 4.5 is too big of a spread. I think the Nuggets have a chance to win, but I like the T-Wolves to cover. Gross?
You actually gave me food for thought with the Nuggets and how they struggled and they didn't hold a lead for whatever against the Lakers, even though they won the series. So I agree with you. Give me the Timberwolves and those points.
Casey?
I'm gonna go against you guys in that one. I'm gonna take the Nuggets tonight minus the 4.5. I just feel a lot of money's on the Timberwolves. Everybody was impressed with the 4-0 sweep against the Suns. I expect the Nuggets to show a little bit more urgency than they did against the Lakers.
Bauer
has not made his pick yet. We'll read it when he gets it in there.
All right, let's go Stars, Golden Knights. Oh, he's going with the over. Stars are the favorites at minus 150. Golden Knights plus 130. The over-under total is at 5.5. And, guys, I'm going with the Stars on this one. The amount of shots on goal that they've had recently, I don't know if the Vegas' goalie can keep up. I like the Stars to close out the series. Casey?
Yeah, I'm going to go Stars in this one, too.
I love Game 7s. I love NHL. I love the post, everything about it. And I especially love home teams on home ice in Game 7, obviously home ice in Game 7. So give me the Stars as well.
What is Bauer going with?
He's taking the over.
Taking the over. So
I'm noticing a trend here.
Last but not least, the Kentucky Derby winner. Who wants to start?
I'll do it.
All right,
family pick. We were talking about this, breaking it down. Kind of a long shot. Marco didn't mention it. I'm doing it. Just Steele, 23-1. Give me Just Steele to win the Kentucky Derby today.
And then Casey, what are you going with?
I'm going to go with the favorite Fierceness just because I had a guest tell me earlier today they had a 25-minute dream last night and they were picking the favorite.
That's creepy.
Interesting how that goes, guys. I'm in honor of the fact that I just got married a couple weeks ago. My wife's name is Marie. I'm going with Honor Marie. So that's exactly what I'm going to honor my wife, Honor Marie. The number 7 horse, 13-1 is what I'm seeing right now. Let's go, Kentucky Derby winner, Honor Marie. Here we go. It's coming around.
I like it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Absolutely. That is. Hey, I've been married a little bit longer than you, and so I was giving you advice this morning on how to stay happy. Just as long as you remember those things, Bauer.
So I've been reminded every day, 365 days by yourself of today. Can he repeat as the champ? For those who know the show well, take the points. Last year on this time, I picked Mage 15-1 to win the Kentucky Derby, followed by the Belmont Stakes champ. And let me tell you, folks, I woke up this morning and I had one name on my mind, and this horse will win the Kentucky Derby. Richie, play the song. Forever Young, 10-1. Japanese, the Japans, they have never, ever had a horse or a jockey win the Kentucky Derby until today. Saki and the boys, give me Forever Young, 10-1 to win the Kentucky Derby.
You know what I heard?
Japan gets on the board today.
You know what I heard? Just go throw a handful of dirt in that horse's face and he's done for the day. That's what I heard. Just dirt, 20-horse field, somebody will do it.
Forever Young, 10-1.
Casey,
that is my pick.
What is it?
What was your pick?
That Fierceness.
Fierceness. All right, I missed that. All right, there we go. I like this. We're across the board. 4 different horses. I love it. All right.
Let's get to our
It's
locks.
time for Take the Points to give you their locks for the weekend. Live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Okay, gambling degenerates, what are your locks? By the way, you better be gambling responsibly.
Give me the Magic plus 3.5 tomorrow. I like them in Game 7. Look, Donovan Mitchell, 50 points is great, but when you've got no one else to support Donovan Mitchell, I like the Magic in this one. I get it's on the road. I think they get one and win Game 7.
All right, I'm going back to the NHL. I've been miserable lately. By the way, best wishes to Austin Matthews out there. He missed the last 2 games. Likely going to miss again today. Something's going on there. Hopefully he's okay. David Pasternak, John Tavares to record a point in that game tonight, plus 130. That's my lock of the week.
I'm going to stay in the NHL as well. I'm going to stay with the Bruins, home favorite tonight.
Shocking.
Close
Lost
them out.
Guy going with the Bruins. Hey, look, the Arizona Diamondbacks have been struggling. Lost 8-0 to the Dodgers on Wednesday. Lost 7-1. They just needed a Marvin Harrison touchdown. Would have been back into it last night. Look, Luis Ariz, a huge trade acquisition for the Padres, but there is a possibility. I know the internet likes this thought that Brandon Pfaadt right now is the actual ace of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's on the bump tonight. Shout out to me doing a homer pick for my guys, but give me the D-backs tonight over the Padres.
Richie, what's your lock? And we forgot to ask, do you have a Kentucky Derby pick as well?
I'm taking the 8-horse. Marco liked the 8-horse. I'm taking it 10-1.
Good choice.
I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I just know he's
Just
the
a touch, I
he's the
think's his name.
Kid
Just a touch.
of a former Kentucky Derby winner, so I'm keeping it in line. But I'm taking the Nuggets minus 4.5. Give me the defending champs.
And with that, those are our locks, Mike Gross.
I love it. That's our locks of the week. We do it every Saturday here on the
1 minute.
show as we wrap things up from the CAZ Sportsbook here at Casino, Arizona. Always appreciate Casey jumping in and joining us and making his picks. Especially exciting when we can do horse racing because it's so feature events. Thanks again to Marco D'Angelo. Follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas. The website wagertalk.com. We'll get him back for leg 2 and leg 3 of the Triple Crown for sure. Talk horse racing with him. We'll talk baseball with him as well. Thanks to everybody out here at the Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. right here on the station. Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B. You can check them out. And they are here at the Sportsbook Monday afternoons as well. For Bauer, for Jackson, I'm Mike Gross. Richie back in the studio. We'll see you next Saturday, 11 a.m. right here on Fox Sports 910.
All right, fellas.